Kenyans here, we work harder than Kenyans in the than Kenyans in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not knocking down on Kenya.
Reverse culture shock. I know you said that you kept going to Kenya every year before you relocated, but is there any culture shock that you experienced that now after relocating? Because you know there are those things that you'll experience during your short vacations, your 3 to 4, 5 week vacations. But was there like any particular culture shock that you experienced, you personally, once now you set your foot in Kenya and I'm going to live here?
And also over here, Juang is asking, did the company offer you any relocation packs? Ama you had to sort it out all on your own?
Let's start with the culture shock, and then we're gonna go to the relocation.
The
part.
culture shock.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The culture shock was more the work ethic. It's a little bit different.
Talk about that. Talk about that. How different is it? Kenyans are hard workers.
Kenyans here, we work harder than Kenyans in the than Kenyans in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not knocking down on Kenyans in Kenya because I know they work hard, but we're used to 16 hours a day sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So if when I was doing 16 hours a day, they would ask me why. So that's a different culture shock.
Okay, so is it that is it just a matter of amount of contact hours spent at work, or because you talked about like work ethic, or is it also what's done during those hours while you're working, Udi?
No, the work ethic is there. That I can guarantee from my experience. It's maybe because we're just used to putting more hours into our jobs. And because sometimes some of us maybe will be working 2 different jobs. So we can be able to work 16 hours.
Okay.
So Udi, do you think, I know you mentioned that, sometimes you did 16-hour work days. Is it because of, say, your particular skill set? So during a certain time of the year, you guys have to close books, the quarter is over, and so on and so forth. So you have to put in more time so that because you have this deadline that can't be moved, and you're trying to get to that deadline. And so for you, you're putting in the hours that are necessary to get the deliverable. And like, say, your Kenyan counterparts who are like, hey, it's 5 o'clock, me, I'm out. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
So for me, I would rather just get it done, even if I have to work till 11 p.m., 12 a.m.
Understood.
Okay. All right.
These are
But
workaholic.
it's also a personality mindset.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say it's because of job. It's just my personality.
Okay.
I'll work till 12. That is me.
Okay.
I don't expect other people to do the same thing.
Because do you
But
realize that's also unusual even in the US?
It depends on the field that you're in.
Yes.
And that's why I asked that, and I specified the deadlines, deliverables. The people who normally work that way are either people who are in tech or people who are in finance who have deliverables.
Deadlines, yeah.
Their deadlines
Yes.
by the end of the quarter. You have to close those books. You have your client stuff, and that deadline, it's not like you can move the deadline. The deadline is the
Yes.
deadline.
I totally agree with you, and that I'm saying it depends on the person. That's why I say for me, that's who I am. I'm not saying I expect everybody to work till 12 a.m.
Okay. Yeah,
That's not expectations that I have for other people. That 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. that's not what I expect for other people. But if I do it, that's just me.
Okay.
It's how I was grown.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is maybe it's because I'm the opposite. I'm one of those people. If my time to leave work is 5:30, by 5:25, I'm already packing.
Your pencils and your Oxford set.
No, I'm packing. Like I'm ready. Like by 5:30, even before 5:31 hits.
Yeah.
My car has started. I'm gone.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and
again,
that's okay.
go ahead.
That's okay. And that is okay. That doesn't say that you haven't done your job. It just means some other people have different reasons to work till later. They just might like it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, Esther Mulusa here is commenting, and she says, life in Kenya is great. I found myself living a lifestyle which I can only dream about here. My colleagues at Masinde Muliro University belong to the sports club, rubbing shoulders with the who's who in Kakamega County. In America, my colleagues don't live the same way. There is more honor back home. I need to go back. I'm this country. Basic human respect in this country, basic human respect is lacking. The Trump era brought racism to the fore. I am tired. That's Esther Mulusa right there. And then
I think that's all us black.
And if you
people.
guys remember, she should be listening to us.
yeah,
from,
she'd
from
be tuned
whatever.
in. Yeah, she'd be
From
tuned in to
Busia.
us from Kakamega.
From Kakamega,
When did she come back?
I think she came back after the pandemic, but Esther Mulusa, you can tell us that. Then there was the other question that came to you, Udi, regarding parks. Like when you moved back to Kenya, did you do it at your own cost, or did the company pay for your relocation back to Kenya? Udi.
Okay. So the good thing of the benefit that I got, that they paid for me and my family to move back to Kenya.
Wow. Okay.
So when I say making those decisions, you don't have to just think about just randomly make those decisions. They paid for my relocation and paid for my kids' school fees.
Oh wow! So for the entire time that you were in Kenya, they paid for your kids' school fees.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does paying for a relocation entail? I mean, of course, you've mentioned school fees. What else does it entail besides paying for your tickets and paying for the school fees of your children? What else does it entail?
Moving expenses, and also it was like a way, like, to be able to settle.
Did they find you? Did you have a choice in where you would want to live when you go to Kenya? Because I think that also motivates somebody in terms of relocation. You're living, places that are efficient, convenient. Did you have a choice on that?
Yani au kuenda Islando ulienda kule Mayolo?
Well, I think this is getting more kind of like private, but I'll
Okay.
actually be honest.
Uh-huh.
The good thing, I was able to stay with my parents.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay. That's good. A
So
support
for
system.
the entire 5 years,
No,
or
Just
just
when I
you
moved.
got there?
To give you a soft landing, so to speak. So it's not like you are out there looking for an apartment. You go in. At least you had a soft landing initially, and then you
Yeah.
guys. Okay, understood. Okay.
And I
So-
think the reason I'm asking that, I think it's all about the motivation. And I think, number one, of course, once you get a company, home is home. You love home, definitely. And you get a company that says, okay, I'll pay you to go back, to pay tuition for your kids and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and then of course you said you had your own selfish motivation because you are used to Kenya, used to that, happy life, Friday life, all that kind of stuff. So it's obviously there were some benefits of you going back home, but definitely I don't want to jump the gun, but I would want to know that at what point, when you feel like, this life is not cutting it, let me go back, but maybe I'm going too far. Let me let Ali and them to tell us, add some more before you get to that place.
This the student is ahead of the class.
Yes.
Fukuzwe.
Yes. And if Fukuzwe.
Yeah,
no,
Fukuzwe.
No, the
Mhm.
reason why I was asking is because, like people move back home under different circumstances.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like Udi, for example, landed on a job and he got a soft landing,
Yes.
like where you have this company that's paying
Mhm.
for his relocation. So that financial burden
Hit.
was
The
not,
hit, yes.
it wasn't there.
Yes.
Yeah.
it
Because
wasn't
there's
there.
that
Yeah.
financial
Mhm.
hit, that you get when you're still trying to find your way.
Yeah.
When you're moving back home.
Just imagine, Ali, not to cut you off,
Yeah.
Pole. Imagine you have to pack your entire house, put it into a 40-foot container, or try to get things into a 40-foot container, and not just you. It's you, toys, wifey, whoever your significant other is, unaeka kila kitu huko ndani, and then you wave bye-bye to the truck, and you go to Kenya. Eventually, vitu zako zitakuja, because
Yeah.
they're being shipped.
Yeah.
So that's what a normal person who's returning, part of their return process is, because you're
Yes.
going to be moving
Yeah.
your belongings, right? But for Udi, he was lucky that he had somebody who was bearing the financial
The financial burden.
financial part of it, because
Yeah.
I mean, a container is not cheap to ship a container. We all know it's bei yake, normally we even split containers when we want to ship things. So that part can be even the most traumatizing. Let alone ikifika Kenya kufanya clearing. That's also another story. So having that,
it is expensive.
yeah.
Like I don't want to go to costs because that was 2012. I don't want to go to costs because all I had to do was just give the receipt to the company.
Mhm.
But that's, I guess, a decision that when people say that they want to move to Kenya,
Mhm.
they have to realize if you're going to pay for yourself, we're talking about close to $20,000, $30,000.
So when you talk $20,000, $30,000, is that just moving your stuff, or does that include, like air tickets for your family, and all the costs
No,
associated
that's
with moving
shipping.
back? That's only shipping.
That's a shipping things. You gotta pack all your stuff and everything.
Okay. Now, what? Okay, so 20,000 shipping. What's the estimated total cost? Like, let's say, for example, if I decide I want to move, in 6 months, what's the expected, total cost, like we are talking about? Let's talk about someone moving back with a family, let's say like a family of 4. What should they have in mind? Because sometimes on paper, these things look easy and straightforward, but when the numbers start hitting, your bank account, you start realizing that you're spending a lot of money. So what approximately how much would you tell me to prepare? How much money? Udi?
Okay, number one, I would say probably it doesn't even want to ship furniture back home. It doesn't make sense anymore.
Huh.
Okay.
Because you can be able to get them from Gong Road.
Mhm.
Okay.
Doesn't make sense,
Okay.
right? So you can buy furniture in Gong Road.
Okay.
Even TVs now, you can be able to get them from the shops there.
Okay.
But we're now talking about, like, look at it from just tickets. It will be 10,000.
Mhm.
Okay. Tickets for the family.
Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable. 10,000.
That's 4 people.
Yeah.
And then there'll be some stuff that you want, to ship, like personal stuff that you have emotional attachment to.
Like that first book for your first lecture where you passed the class. That like
Yeah.
sorry.
And the pictures that you cannot be able to
Yes.
put in
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So those you'll have to ship. So I'm thinking moving back home right now would
Mhm.
probably cost you 20 close to $30,000.
Close to $30,000.
Without
yeah.
your furniture.
Okay. Without your furniture. Yeah.
Without furniture.
Yeah.
Nyinyi watu.
So close
I
to
swear.
$30,000. Yeah. So Kenana furniture maybe
Mutafanya nikaendelee tu kukaburi.
we're now talking $40,000 to $50,000. So that's just to get
And then
started.
now you go home, then you have to buy furniture.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
And
all right.
find a place if you're purchasing or you're sorry,
yeah.
I'm ahead of the class.
Yeah, so you need to figure out. So I think that's the important part that I think sometimes people don't have context to. I mean, for your case, you were just looking at these prices on like the invoices that your company was paying, but now for a normal person moving, this is money that's coming directly from their
your
their
pocket.
bank account,
Yes.
from their pocket.
So that's so you might be tapping even into hypothetically 401k over here, because where umepiga zile calculations I'm not gonna be here at 55 or whatever it is.
Yes.
So wacha ni
But
hizo dozi
remember,
zote niende.
you have to remember, but your 401k, when you remove it,
Yes.
There's a
you
penalty.
get that. I think 30%.
It
It depends on your
Boss,
tax bracket.
It,
There's
de-
a-
it depends on how you play the game, but I
Yeah.
don't want to tell you how to play the game here.
But
Yeah.
you know, there's still gonna be that
Correct.
discount that's gonna have to.
You'll
Yeah.
have to pay our nushuru, whether it's upfront or back end.
Yeah.
You will have to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're already in Kenya, and of course Udi had a soft landing. So the next thing is to figure out what school your kids are going to. And of course here you have a situation where a company is paying for you. But to that person who's returning, let's say they have 3 kids, and they're looking to take their kids to a school that will almost match, because you're not taking your kids to a public school. You know, you're not taking them to BD primary school
Unapeleka Makini?
or Kongoni primary school. You're taking them to a school that is a match or something close to what they had experienced here.
Correct.
So Udi, maybe just take us through, like what schools these are and what
your
exactly
options are.
what your options are and what the options are pocket wise. Like how much are you looking to spend per term or annually in school fees? Udi.
So, at that time I only, I had 2 kids, but the youngest she didn't have to go to school. My oldest, she went to what is that school that is there in Lavi? Can't even kumbuka.
Lavington Primary.
No,
Private school. Yes.
Or you're talking about Strathmore in Lavington. You have Strathmore. You have St. Mary's.
Strath. No, across from the Cope station.
Okay. Now you're talking to people who've lived in the US for 20 years.
Yes.
So when you
Well,
say
no
when you say the cop station, you're
Alright,
thinking of
so,
Montgomery County
so,
Police.
I'm sure somebody's going to comment.
So
and
she
then we
went
will,
to like a,
Rusinga.
actually school there.
Rusinga.
No.
St.
no,
Austin's?
no.
I don't know. I'm
No,
just...
Or
those-
St.
no,
Austin's.
No, after
Those are
St.
not.
Austin's, I'm trying to kumbuka. But anyway, it was about 100K per year. I think 130K per year.
Okay.
Then.
Okay.
That time.
Then, yeah.
So this is 12 years ago.
Yes.
13.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 years ago.
And Udi, you're breaking up. I'm not sure whether you can hear us clearly. Your lines.
Me, I can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So,
Yeah, so we're talking about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how much it was. And that was just basic fees without adding other expenses.
So what about the transport and all that? Is that added? Is that part of the fees? Like the school
generally,
bus?
the cost of going to school.
Books.
That was,
Uniform.
because I used to pick her up. Or,
Okay.
Yeah,
So she
so-
wasn't in a school
because
bus.
we lived like about 10 minutes away.
Okay.
Hapo Mudangari. So,
Okay, by the Mudagari police station. Okay, around that.
Yeah.
Area. Okay.
yeah, right there by Mudangari police station. So you can imagine I don't even know how much now it costs.
Yeah, that cost that you're quoting sounds more like what you'd be paying
Per
per
term.
term.
Yeah, that sounds like more per term. But what generally are you looking at in the schools? Because you've met, like other diasporans who've moved back. Like what generally what kind of range schools do they want to go? Because there's that range of schools that are in that quadrant that you mentioned, the St. Mary's, the Strathmores, and these are not the top.
Pony,
These are not the top tier
Kavina,
schools. These are maybe tier 2 or maybe even tier
RVA,
tier
ISK.
3. Like this.
So now you look at people wanting to go to Rusinga,
Okay.
McKinney.
St. Mary's, Strathmore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think, and all of those are located within the Lavington area,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And most of them are probably like about, at this point, probably 200,000 a term.
Okay. So we're talking about around
Between
600,000.
between 100 to 200,000 Kenya shillings.
No, yeah, so 200,000
Yeah.
a term. We're talking 600,000 per child per year.
Per child, yeah.
Yeah.
There's Nairobi International School that's right there. It's,
Okay.
I think, almost $1 million for a year.
Okay, so that's a bit too far. Let's stick to these ones that are 200,000 shillings a term. So that's 600,000 a year, and you're talking if you have 4 kids, that's, or let's say 3 kids, 4 kids, like that's a bit beyond. Let's say 3 kids. That's you're talking about 1.8 million to 2 million shillings a year, and when you convert that to dollars. Dollar ya Ruto, has been fluctuating, so we don't know. I don't know where the dollar is right now.
132, I think. As
So
of last check.
so we are talking. How much would that be? 2 million in US dollars. Approximately how much would that be? And that's just expenses in education in 1 year.
I think it's about 20K. I could be wrong.
No, it's not 20K. 20K is back when the dollar was 100 bob. It
It's
would
about
be
15,000.
about $15,000
Using a $1.30 exchange rate.
you using 130 shillings
130.
exchange
Yes.
rate.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're talking about $15,000 a year just in education expenses, and then of course you had spent on your relocation, and then now you have this $15,000 a year that's coming for the education part. But of course we have Udi here, who's being taken care of by the company. The company is paying these expenses.
Assuming you have that type of thing. But again,
Yeah.
that would be about the expectation,
Yeah.
because the thing with the schools as well is that you would need to, you want to take your kids to schools that are conversant or similar to what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Because obviously if they enter our public school system,
Yeah.
it's so far off from where they are.
they can't survive.
The catch up.
Yeah. They can't survive.
The catch up can be a little bit much.
Yeah.
So obviously as a parent, then you're like, you know what, I'm going to take my child to these other schools. And even if you look at the public schools we went to when we were growing up, unfortunately, right now you would not be taking your child to that school. Unfortunately.
No, unfortunately, yeah.
It's because the schools have been run down, and
Yeah.
then the class population, whereas I think we used to be anywhere between maybe 30 to 40 kids max in a class, now they are like double that.
Okay.
100.
Now, before we go back to you, Anna, I want to come to you.
Yes.
Has this thought of going back home ever crossed your mind?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our story
Okay.
Yeah.
bui.
I mean, no, seriously, it has, because that's what I wanted to know. Because honestly, yes, I know that there was a motivation for him because he got a job, but at the same time, I believe there is the fact that because unaona nyumbani ni nyumbani.
Correct.
You feel like know
Yes.
that there's, for me, especially for me, if you right now everything being wonderful, I will go because I feel like I don't want to have to leave watching my back thinking that I'm at the
Yeah.
mall, somebody gonna shoot or not,
Mm-hmm.
or anything. I can't go even to watch a movie, or I can't be at a club because I don't know what's going to happen. There's those things that make you feel like if I go home, I don't need to really to worry about gun violence as much as I worry about
There's a
here.
social benefit.
Yes, there's a
to being
social
there.
benefit.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have,
Okay.
you have to worry in Kenya. You have to worry about your drink being mochele by
Yeah,
mochele babes.
But
By
see, the-
Mochele babes.
Mochele babes. But if
Mochele
I'm-
babes,
but,
those are guys
yeah,
who are the bar next
yeah,
door.
but if I'm not going to clubs as much, or I'm not doing all those kind of things, I just
Ama
yeah,
Kazimu ukiongelea
yeah.
kana hurio.
Yeah, exactly. You have to worry about those things now in
Yeah.
Kenya, about crimes,
Yeah.
So I mean,
Petty crime.
Yeah,
Petty
petty
crime.
crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's, and then of course, I think the other aspect many people want to go back home is also the investment. You are investing in a property, you want to build, you want to maybe even start your business. So I think there are aspects of going home. If you do have something that you can fall back to, that's wonderful. Or if you have enough money that you can be able to support yourself without having to look for a job. I think many people come back because, umefika huko na una namna ingine. Then you have to work for somebody. It becomes difficult when that job is out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also family. I think that at the end of the day, family, our support system here is the family you make here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily your family via blood.
Yes.
But when you're home, you have both your immediate and extended. And you don't have to go very far.
The
Yeah.
support
Wako
system
Yeah.
is stronger.
yes, the support system is right there. So that whole adage of raising a child with the village
Yes.
is very true, and it still exists at home. Again, how you shape it, how you
Yes.
morph it. Just
Yeah.
like when we grew up, we always knew about Uncle Nani, Nini, and our cousins.
Yeah.
Maybe on dad's side, mom's side, we are always connected. But so having that family connection, I think it goes a very, very, especially if you have younger children, because you want the younger children to connect with their relatives, their cousins, uncles, and things like
yes.
that.
Yeah.